Hi everyone, my name is Suzanne Price from Countdown to EBS and also Pep Talks for Patriots. I wanted to do a follow-up on my last video where I suggested that your future and your experience of the new normal, whether that be that you merely survive or thrive, would depend on your level of awareness of what is going on in the world and what the new normal really means. The reason why I had said that is, if you hadn't noticed, it almost seems like we have two agendas at play, or that we are living in these parallel realities or parallel worlds to people around us. There's a lot of people who are saying that they have fallen out with family and friends, mostly over differences of opinions. And in particular, although it all sort of revolves around the same thing, the three main themes I would say has been things to do with the pandemic event, beliefs about President Trump, and also about the US election. And so as we've gone past those, as we've moved beyond those and we start looking at the new normal, we know that there's going to be a new normal because we were told within days, I would say 2 weeks at the most from when the pandemic event was rolled out, that there was no going back and that we were going to be having a new normal. Now, as I've said in other videos, how would they have known that unless they already had something in store for us? So going forward, we need to know what that new normal is. We have got to get beyond waiting for permission to go back and living our lives and just being told what to do, what we are allowed to do or what we are not allowed to do, and simply just complying. Because if we go back and we look at the way things were, and I know for a lot of people, life may have been pretty good, or at least compared to what it has been the last year, people would look back and think it was absolutely fabulous and would still be over the moon just to not have to wear their mask or stand on a plastic spot on the floor or be told what to do. But they would be willing to comply with a lot of orders, and they would be willing to live within a lot of new restrictions. In case you haven't noticed, whenever there is any kind of world event that involves security, or as they say, health, a lot of restrictions are put into place, and then we just adapt to them. So if we were to go back to that timeline, you may have heard people talk about split timelines or third dimension or fifth dimension. If we go back to that timeline, let's say it's the third dimension timeline, and when we're talking about timelines and we're talking about dimensions, we're really talking about levels of human consciousness. If we go back and we continue on that path that we were on, even with the restrictions, at best, we can assume that things would be somewhat the way they were, but with a lot of restrictions. However, if we look at the other timeline, the timeline that we were moving towards before this happened, before this level of consciousness got broadsided and brought down because of all the fear mongering that's been happening around the world. So if you noticed at the beginning of 2020, everything was thriving. You know, the trees and the birds and the bees were coming back. I was seeing birds like I've never seen in Vancouver before. The plants, everything was just incredible. Like everything was really thriving. It was almost because we had had this energy shift and we'd come up in energy towards the higher dimensions. So our planet is going through an ascension, which means that it's aligning with the vibrational frequencies of the fifth dimension, and people are also going through their own ascension, some with awareness, some oblivious to any of it's happening. And those with awareness are aware of what affects them, and those who tend to be oblivious to what's happening and not so aware of how what's being put in front of them, what's being programmed into their minds, are affecting their level of consciousness and their own individual energetic frequencies. So we were going along very, very nicely, and everything was looking really good. And then all of a sudden we were hit from, out of nowhere with this thing that created so much fear on the planet. But that was going towards the fifth dimension, okay? That was where we were going with the ascension. And in alignment with that ascension is what is called Nicera and Jacera. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what that is, or if you want to learn more about it, I've set up a website called NiceraandJaceralife.com. Now, Nicera and Jacera was supposed to have been rolled out on September the 11th, 2001. We all know what happened on September the 11th, 2001. And Nicera and Jacera was never rolled out and never been heard of since. So part of Nicera and Jacera is that we would have had access to thousands of technologies that have been suppressed. And many of those are medical technologies or medical methods of healing. And because that never happened, there have been hundreds of, or I would say not even hundreds of thousands, but probably millions of people who have suffered needlessly and probably even died because we never had access to those technologies and those healing modalities, which are miraculous because somebody suppressed them, because it benefits their pockets. Okay, that's basically what happened. So as we move forward into the new normal, we have to make sure, none of us, the general public, did not know that Nicera and Jacera was supposed to have been released and rolled out in 2001. Not that we would have had any control over what happened, but this time around, there's more and more people that are becoming aware, they're becoming awake, because we are going through a great awakening. So many people are going through their own great awakening story, and we are going through a great awakening on the planet. So a lot of things are being exposed, and Nicera, Jacera, and everything associated with Nicera and Jacera are being exposed and being brought to people's awareness. Now, a lot of people, when I try talking to people about the new normal, I receive responses like, "Oh, I don't want to hear it. I'm very happy living in my own bubble." I mean, I've literally heard that. Or, no, I'm on a spiritual path, la, I just meditate, I don't want to know anything. Well, guess what? Being spiritual, there's a way more to being spiritual than wearing yoga pants and sitting on top of a mountain meditating all day. Being spiritual is about being awake. It's about being aware. It is about being a sovereign being. It is about being a warrior more so than it is burying your head in the sand and pretending nothing that's happening. Okay, so talking about the new normal again, so we want to make sure that we are aligned with the actual path that we want to be aligned with. Because if you can imagine, if we all buried our heads in the sand, and if the media came on every day and just told us that the new normal was that we don't have to wear a mask and that we do not have to stand 6 feet apart, or anything else to do with COVID, we would just carry on our lives like this. being fearful of life, being fearful of each other, constantly being fearful of becoming ill or fearful that this could happen again. This is massive predictive programming, so that the next time somebody rolls out an agenda like this, we're all going to say, oh my God, that happened before. We know it can happen. We know it can happen. It happened before. And that's already been going on, because even with this event, people keep referring back to other events of plagues and whatnot that supposedly happened in history as proof, as fear, as proof and evidence that these things can happen before. Nobody's necessarily questioning whether or not they did happen, but because we've been told by the media, who a lot of people think would never steer you wrong, and by many of the bought and paid for experts that belong to the media as well, people just assume everything is true and they continue along their path. So it's really, really important that we arm ourselves with knowledge. The barrier between whether or not you will survive in the rest of the 21st century or thrive, it's a barrier of knowledge. The question is are you going to familiarize yourself with knowledge? And I'm not talking about information that you're going to find off the media. I'm talking about looking at all the alternative sources, looking for the conflicting informations, and then doing your own digging. Now, we are expecting to receive some emergency broadcasts coming up soon. And during that time, we are going to be told to go to our TVs, turn on our TV, watch a channel, and we are going to become familiar with a lot of what's been going on around the world. A lot of people are going to be shocked. So I've started up a channel and a platform called countdowntoebs.com, because I am trying to prepare people for what is to come with that EBS. And I'm also trying to make people more aware of what is to come with the new normal. Part of the new normal is we are returning to constitutional law. This is the law of the people. We're talking natural law, not legalese, not thousands of laws that have been imposed on us so that they can fine us and control us and take more money from us. We're talking about natural law. No harm, no foul, okay? Going back to constitutional law, massive changes around the world. If not enough people wake up, become aware of this, when these EBS alerts happen, when this information comes out like floodgates opening up, and we are getting this deluge of new information that's going to be shocking, a lot of people are going to panic. They are going to be in more fear. They are not going to want to believe what is going on. The evidence is all around the world. The writing is on the wall. There have been plenty of digital soldiers, alternative media methods who have come forward and who have been exposing the deceit and deception and unearthing and exposing the truth. So the information is out there. I am going to be putting out information every day now up until we get the EBS alerts. That's the emergency broadcast alerts. So please go to my website, countdowntoebs.com. It's the number 2, countdowntoebs.com, and sign up, and then you'll receive daily updates. And I will inform you, share information with you that I have become aware of, or that I will become aware of, to help you prepare for those EBS alerts and for the new normal. After the fact, I will continue to put out information on the new normal as necessary. And I'm also going to be doing some weekly live events online, probably on a Saturday. starting next week, which I think it's July the 24th, 25th today. So I think next Saturday is going to be July the 31st. And so I'm just going to be putting out or doing some live events. If you have any questions with regards to that, please try and send them to me ahead of time. If I don't have the answers, I will try and find the answers, because if you've got a question, you can bet that there's thousands of other people who have the same questions as well. And you can send those to me at inquiries, with an E, inquiries, at peptalksforpatriots.com. Okay? And please don't forget to sign up for the countdown to ebs.com to receive alerts from me as well. Great. And please, please, please share this information, because this is, as you know, we are all in this together. The entire world is in this together. And the rollout of the new normal and the Sarah and Sarah and the Sarah are also going to affect the entire planet as well. So please share. Please help people become aware of this. Please help people prepare for this. I also do some online stuff, put out some free videos as well on how to overcome the fear, to rise above the fear that's on the planet right now. So I will be sharing some of that information as well. My name is Suzanne Price. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Bye.